What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on 901 Accord again. I'm gonna be doing a rack and pinion on this, but before we get started, I would like to plug some of my merchandise. So here are my hats. We do have this colors that have the gray and the black. We can do the patch on the side. We do press the patches ourselves, but we do buy the patches from a local company here in South Carolina. So I'm supporting local businesses, but that's the patch right there. And like I said, we can do the patch on either side of the hat. You can do it right here, or we can do it in the middle, whichever one that you like. This right here is just my hat. We did a trial run on this, so but they are Richardson 112s. Where it is, right there. And that's my favorite hat. So we will have t-shirts up as well eventually. We don't have all the stuff for the t-shirts yet. And then right now I'm making 300 stickers for the mini Nats show that's coming up. We're going to be putting them in the goodie bags for everybody. So if y'all are there and you get one of the goodie bags, you know, I'll have a sticker in there for you. But we're also going to be doing magnets also with the same sticker, so it'd be a magnetic sticker pretty much. But like I said, that's about all I'm going to be doing. Plugging right now is just the hats. I'm going to be having them up on my Instagram, so go to the Instagram if you want to order one. They will be $30 a piece right now, just because of the leather patch and the hats, just for the cost of it. But if y'all do get one, I appreciate the support, and I just wanted to show that before I started the video. But like I said, on this we're going to be doing a rack and pinion on here. So these right here aren't really that hard. Let me show you what I got though. Here it is right there. It's a reman. You cannot buy a brand new one. They do come with inner tie rods on these. And here's your number. It is a Cardon 26-1761. So let me climb underneath here and show y'all kind of what we're working with. Now that we're underneath here, you can kind of see that this right here is just soaked with oil, power steering fluid, whatever you want to call it. So is the line is coming out of that boot right there. The seal on this side is the one that's busted, and I typically see them busted on this side. I guess that's where the gear is closest to the gear, so that gets more pressure, or the pressure first, and it doesn't leak out of the passenger side as fast. But to do this, you're going to have to drop this exhaust piece right here. There's 3 bolts back here, I think that is the cat, yeah, back there where the cat is. And then there's 3 bolts up here on the exhaust manifold. Then there's a bolt that attaches to the engine right there. Should be 2 of them, I believe, but it looks like the exhaust is moved a little bit. But like I say, you got 3 on the back, this one little one right here, and then 3 on the front that attaches to the exhaust manifold. And then this rubber boot right here, the hanger, you can take that off and this piece will come out. Then you should have 4 lines that attach. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Should be 4 bolts that hold it in. 2 right here that goes through the actual rack itself, and then there is a clamp that holds the other side. Oops, didn't mean to hit y'all. There's that clamp right there. And finally, you have to take the tie rods off, the outer tie rods from the inner tie rods, which is a jam nut right there, and we can thread them off. But first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and take all the bolts, not all the bolts, but all the lines loose right here. Put a drain pan, just let it drain, and then I'm going to soak all the exhaust bolts with some Croil and let them just sit here for a little bit, and while this is draining. So let me grab some wrenches and we'll get to taking these lines off. We got the exhaust soaking in penetrating oil, and now what we're going to do is be taking all these lines right here off. So these little ones, if we can get those, oh yeah, not all that tight. These are 12 millimeter right there. That one's a 14, and this one I believe is a 17. But if we can get this loose. It's a little slippery. The only bad thing about gloves, if something's slippery, it makes it even more slick. I know they make line wrenches or flare nut wrenches, whichever one you want to call them, but these weren't really all that tight. Make sure we get it in there. As much as this thing was leaking, I doubt there's a whole lot of fluid in here. So I'm gonna let this drain for a little bit, and then while I'm doing that, I'm gonna take off the exhaust right here. So I'll find out what size that is, and I'll probably use an impact to take these off, just because the jolting action of an impact will make it a little bit easier to get them off. So let me clean my hands up, and then we'll be right back whenever we take that off. Got the exhaust out now, and what we're going to do next is break the jam nut loose on the inner tie rod. The inner tie rod, you're going to have to hold with a 14, and then the jam nut on mine is a 22 millimeter. So I'm going to try to get this on camera. So that section is a 14. How well I can get in here without hitting y'all. Alright, come on. I know my hand's kind of in the way. There we go. I know I was hitting y'all a little bit. I got y'all right in the way. I didn't think about the position of where y'all would be at. So I'm gonna loosen it up just a hair. Alright, and there we go. So now that we got this right here broke loose, what I'm actually going to do is take the mounting bolts off of the rack itself and let it hang down, because once I get it jacked up, I can break the outer tie rods off of the knuckle, thread those off, and then we should be able to try to maneuver the rack out of here. So I may have to take this exhaust hanger off as well, and there's just two 12 millimeter bolts right there. That may have to happen, I don't know yet. We're going to try and see what we can do with it. But here's two mounting bolts, and then the other two are directly above us, and that's like the clamp style. I don't know what size they are, but let's find out real quick. That's way too big. Where is it? Yep, they're 14s. So I'm gonna go ahead and take both of these off. I think the back ones are too. Yep, all four of them are 14, so I'm gonna go ahead and break these loose, and then I'll bring y'all back whenever we get the tire off. Got the tire jacked up now, and I'm gonna take this cotter pin off, or whatever you want to call it. See if we can get it to come out. There we go. This one right here is a 17. No, actually no, that one is not a 17. The other one was a 17 on the passenger side. This one right here may be a 15 or 16. So let me go change wrenches. I'll be right back. And now we got the right size. This one is a 16. Straighten her back up a little bit. Nut on the ground, and then we're going to hammer this right here off until it comes out. We're just going to hit it right here on the knuckle, just like that. Now this one may come off. Yeah, the other one I had to hold the inner tie rod with the 14 millimeter just because it wanted to spin a little bit. There we go. Now, only thing we got left to do is to break the steering rod off of the gearbox, and I think we have to do that from inside the car. We're inside the car under the dash, and you'll have to take this cover right here off. There's gonna be like a little clip on the top right here. Then you're gonna have like these little plastic screws. Hold on, I'm screwing one of them out now. That's what it looks like. Should have 2 of those, I believe. And then there's, like I said, there's a clip right here, and you pull that down, and you can pull this whole piece right here out. And then there should be a bolt in there that ties the knuckle to the actual steering column and the rack and pinion. And once you take that loose, you should be able to pull the rack and pinion down. Now, it's going to be a little tight getting the rack and pinion down, just because of the shaft, because it does stick up a good bit. I'm guessing probably 3 inches is what it sticks up. So you're going to have to pull it down a good bit to pull it out. But I'm going to try to show you all this right here while I'm pulling all this out. So let me try to set y'all up. So I think I got y'all in a pretty decent spot. The other one is right here. Alright, try to get this clip off. I think there's 2 of them actually. There it goes. And it kind of goes under the floor. Actually, it should be 3, but this one's missing 1. I forgot about that. There's a 3rd one down there on the bottom. It's under the carpet. Yeah, it's not down in there. I thought maybe it would have been down in there, but it's not. Alright, so we do have it down, and the bolt is going to be right here. So we'll have to turn the rack and pinion some to get it to actually show. There we go. And there it is right there. Looks like a 10mm. We should be able to break that loose, and then hopefully we can spread it apart with a screwdriver, and it should come out fairly easy. So let me grab my 10mm and see if we can get this down. I have seen on other videos, people took this one out too, just in case, to try to maneuver it around some. But we're going to see if we can do it without doing that. Good almighty. That thing is tight. Ooh, that thing was tight. There it goes. There's your bolt right there. Alright, I'm going to see if I can pull it down from underneath the car real quick and see if it comes loose a little bit. Looks like it come down a little bit, not much. So I'm going to keep wiggling on it from underneath the car until I can get it loose. So we got it out now, and I did have to take that hanger off. It was just 2 12mm bolts or nuts that held it on, and you're going to have to use a wrench to get it out, and you need to turn your rack all the way to the right side of the car just to get it to clear. And I'm not going to lie, you're going to have to pry this thing out because that shaft is so long that it hits everything. And it'll come down, and you probably have about a ½ inch left to get it. So you're gonna have to pick up on the passenger side a little bit, move it, twist it towards the front, and then I got a pry bar in there and pulled down, and it finally cleared. But make sure you get this piece right here out, because that will give you clearance as well. And I'm gonna go ahead and transfer this over. But here it is. I know a lot of the new ones, like I said, do not have these bushings, so if you need to, you can knock them out with a socket, or something like that, and knock them and hit them with a hammer, and that should push out. They can transfer the bushings over, but mine does have the new bushings, which is a good thing. So we're going to take these off real quick. Of course, they're going to thread all the way out. Okay. But let me thread that one off, and then I'll bring it underneath there and we'll try to slide her back in. I pretty much have everything back on. I got the tie rods on, got them tightened, and then now all I gotta do is just torque down the actual rack to the body of the car or the subframe. And the torque spec for this is 28 foot-pounds. I'm using some extensions, so I'm going to go to 30 foot-pounds, which for the size bolts, that is actually a little looser than I would have expected, but they did come out really easy. Let's see if I can get back in here. Yeah, mine is going to be in the way. See if I can get up on there. Okay, yeah, a little bit harder to get on that one because of the line. This line out of the way. Alright. Then your tie rod ends to the knuckle, they torque to 32 foot-pounds, and I've already got those on. So now we pretty much have this all the way on, and I know there's some fluid on here, but that's just from what come out of the rack from the company that remanufactured it. So next step is to go ahead and put some power steering fluid in the actual reservoir, and then we're going to crank it up and try to bleed the system. But I'm going to put a drain pan under it just in case, and I may even leave y'all under here while I run it just to see if it leaks or not. Alright, so we just got through bleeding it. There's how I have to clean up the reservoir a little bit. You see there's a little bit of fluid on it, but I'll clean that up in just a second. But this is going to conclude the video. If y'all got any questions, comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section down below. But I did want to show y'all this right quick. This is what I used. It took about 3 or 4 of these right here. This is Honda genuine power steering fluid. Make sure you use this in your Hondas, because something about the viscosity is different than a regular power steering fluid. And you can see in his old one he was leaking so much he was just buying the cheap stuff, which I don't blame him, you know, as much as power steering fluid is. But I'll put a link to the power steering rack and this fluid right here in the description below. But like I said, y'all remember, torque this tight, and y'all have a great day.